take off, take flight with you. For we never fly, but we're flying.
Welcome to episode 193 of Take Flight Podcast. This week's episode is a Take Flight Takeaway with myself, Daniel. For those who are new to the podcast, we do Take Flight Takeaway episodes with one of the four members of the Take Flight podcast, where we share lessons, insights, or experiences in a bite-sized mini episode. So without further ado, let's get into it. If you're a regular listener of our podcast, you'll have heard in one of our general catch-ups at the beginning of an episode a few weeks ago that I was to have a recharge week. And a certain individual, not naming names, Olu, made some remarks in a jovial manner. Nothing too direct or anything malicious. Well, in this episode, I'll be sharing what is a recharge week in the context of what I was sharing and referring to, as well as how I spent it and if I would recommend one. So firstly, what is a recharge week? In the company I work for, we see a recharge week as one where, quote unquote, our offices are closed for the week. I say quote unquote offices as we're a remote first company, but also we do have physical offices in some locations. Anyway, I digress. But yes, our offices are closed for the most part, but we do still have some critical teams online to cover key areas of our businesses. Recharge weeks are given to us because we work very intensely in quarterly sprints, and this is a nice way for us to spend the week as we wish, detached, unplugged, and away from work. And to mention, this isn't deducted from our annual leave allowance. This is an addition to our annual leave. Whilst we still have our annual leave and we can take a week or several weeks off at any time, of course, depending on business needs and business areas of within our teams, I still feel there's a huge benefit to the whole company taking the week off at the same time. And for me, I think some of those benefits include there isn't a mountain of internal emails awaiting you upon your return, and thus you can really relax and not have to check your inbox so frequently. You also don't feel a sense of guilt for detaching from work and not thinking about work or checking in, responding to internal requests or to colleagues or to clients, or whatever your role may be. You can just completely switch off. And we as a company return to work rejuvenated, re-energized, and able to do some incredible work for the following quarter. I think it's fair to say that when we've taken annual leave ourselves, we often dread the first day back at work because we know there's just so much to get through. Our inbox may be spilling over, leaking over, and so much to do. But this really does eclipse that sort of anxiety that may await, or not doom is I think is a bit too a dark word, but the not so nice experience of returning to work from, say, a week off or a 2-week vacation. And this really does help. Also, I'm not implying that my company got this concept of a recharge week from Bill Gates, but for those who may or may not have watched on Netflix Decoding Bill Gates, in that documentary, Bill Gates shared what he would often refer to and what he would go to, which he termed reading week. And this is where he would go to a remote place, usually a cabin, if I'm not mistaken, with more than a dozen books, and where he will just read. I don't think I'd get to this stage of just reading through my recharge week, although I do think it's something I could do in the future, incorporate some reading. And I think it's imperative that we all do so, read, upskill ourselves in a new domain, especially as the world is rapidly evolving with new technologies such as AI and so on and so forth. So you're probably wondering, I hope you are, how did I spend my recharge week? In all honesty, I felt quite undeserving of my recharge week, as I had only been back for 2 weeks. As prior to my return to work, those 2 weeks, I had taken 2 weeks off just before returning to work for 2 weeks and then a recharge, still using my paternity leave. And if you're wondering, this isn't from any additional child. This is from my first son, who was born 18 months ago. And I shared in a previous episode, I believe, on whether a group or a Take Flight Takeaway, that I get 18 weeks paternity leave, which I'm still using. And for those who are counting, I still have 6 weeks left. Nevertheless, I was very grateful for the recharge week. It was nice to end the quarter with a recharge week and start the new quarter fresh on a new slate and ready to attack it. So how did I spend my recharge week? I did a mixture of things, actually, ranging from taking midday naps, there was one particular nap that was just so beautiful, so beautiful. Spending more time with my son on the day he doesn't go to nursery. We went swimming, doing walks, did some playing, and we just had some father and son time, which is great and is always great. Did a lot of house admin, did a lot of cleaning, ironing, as well, going on walks, seeing family, spending time with my brother and cousins, playing mini golf. And this was great fun. I won't lie. I did check in with work a few times during the week due to the nature of my work, and had one meeting, which I did schedule for the beginning of the week on that Monday. But other than that, I didn't have any meetings, although I did respond to a few emails, which didn't take up too much of my time. And I made sure that this wouldn't interrupt me being focused and present for my family. Also, the week started off very well, where I was able to really rest, relax. But as the week was progressing, I got a lot busier, started to feel more tired, and then had a busy weekend just before returning to work. But all in all, it was a great week. I was very grateful for it, and it was time well spent. I think as a company, I really, really enjoy these recharge weeks. Last year, we had one recharge week every quarter. That was 4 weeks in total, plus 25 days of annual leave, plus my paternity. So, of course, I didn't use all my paternity last year. I spread it out and was fortunate to be able to do so. But it was really one where I think knowing that you have a recharge week really allows you to be very intense with your work, really go aggressive, really try and drive results, because you know at the end of that quarter, there is time to rest, reset, and recharge. This year, we have a mixture of recharge weeks and recharge days. And you've heard how I spent my recharge week. Didn't do any traveling this time around, just due to our family schedules and some key dates. But, that's something could be done in the future, but that's something that also can be done at any other time. So it was nice to sort of be off work and not have to travel or to do something very strenuous, very intense, or requires a lot of, movement, logistics, etc., that traveling can entail. However, for my next recharge week, I'm certainly open to hearing your suggestions on how you think I could spend my recharge week, or how you would spend your recharge week. And even if, do you take a recharge week, not necessarily with your company, but they may allow that, but you sort of take a day or two off every so often, just to maybe have a self-care day, pamper yourself, spa day, whatever it may be. Would certainly be keen to hear your suggestions as to what I could incorporate on my next recharge week. And yes, would love to hear those. Please feel free to DM us. But yes, I'm back for Q3, re-energized, rejuvenated, refreshed, reset, and really ready to attack the quarter in my corporate and personal life as well. So until next week for our next group episode, hope you stay well, hope you stay safe. You can find us on Instagram with the handle Take Flight Podcast, which is also the same on YouTube and TikTok. Feel free to DM us. Our inbox is always open. Until then, bye.
Take off.